My name's Mike Waunakee. I work for R82 in the Molift division. We've been talking about the Molift Smart 150, which is a very unique lifter, but really what I want to talk about now is what I think makes all of our lifters special, and that's really the sling. The sling is the part that's the most intimate with the patient, comes in contact with the patient's body, so it really is a very important part of the lifting process. This is our Argo sling. It's a Molift Argo sling. It's a medium back padded. It's our most common sling and also most basic sling. So sling application really starts with the fold. And Molift has a very specific way of folding their sling. And what they tell you to do is basically to match colors. So we come in here and now I'm matching light gray to light gray. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. And now that I've done that, I actually have the ability to handle the sling with one hand in case my patient needs some assistance, because I'm going to ask her to lean slightly forward while I slide this back down behind her. We'll take the sling to our patient and ask, can you please lean forward slightly? And we're just going to take the sling and drop it down behind her back. Now what I'm going to do is there's a little tuck pocket back down in here. I'm going to reach in there and I'm just going to go down and just get underneath her tailbone. Now that we have the sling in place, basically I'll just take each leg individually. You can go ahead and lean back if you'd like. Pull it out to the side. And I'll come around to the other side and do the same. Now because I folded these legs on the outside of the sling, there should be very little sensation for the patient while I'm pulling those legs out and to the side. Now that I have these legs pulled out to the side, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that she doesn't have any bad sensation in her feet or legs and it's okay to touch them?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first flip this up out of the way. And I'm going to help support her foot, which also gives me a little bit of area here underneath her legs. So when I take the leg strap, I can just give it a firm pull. Over the top like that for now. Go ahead and put her foot down. I'm going to do the same on the other leg. And just a firm pull. There we go. Get it into place. Alright, now our sling is ready to go. I'm just going to real quick check. We want to pull our sliding loops out, like so. And we'll get our lifter. I like to have the boom in a lower position when I approach the patient, just so they don't feel like anything is coming straight at their face. I'm also going to widen the legs just a little bit to get around the wheelchair. Now in the front, we're going to cross through like this. You have what we call a colored ladder. If I was to put it very up at the top, this would be a very upright position. Somebody with low trunk control might feel nervous that maybe they could pitch forward, and as you go down the ladder, it becomes more of a reclined position. I find for most people, the light gray at the top is pretty comfortable seated position, so I'm going to do that on both sides. Then I'm going to grab our sliding loop. A lot of slings out there you'll find have the ladder on both the front and the back side, where you're presetting the position of your patient before lifting them. Molift did things a little differently. They added what they call a sliding loop in the back. And the reason they did that is mostly comes in when you're going from a lying position to a seated position, that there's always that moment of catch-up, where one end is catching up with the other one. This offers a more gradual, comfortable, slower transition as the lift happens. Go ahead and put in my sliding loops. There we go. Always make sure that your patient's arms are inside the sling so they don't get caught outside or can't be pulled or anything like that. Before I actually lift, I do want to do it once around the chair just to make sure that I haven't grabbed an arm or chair or anything like that, so we'll be just lifting our patient and not their chair, like so. A lot of people ask me, and they're unsure whether to lock the wheels on the wheelchair, lock the wheels on the lifter, don't lock either, or lock both. You always want to lock the wheels on the wheelchair and never the lifter. The reason for that is you don't ever want to feel like somebody is being pulled out of their chair. You want the lifter to be able to come to them and center its own gravity above her. So when we do the lift, and you'll kind of see that happening as we go ahead and lift here. Okay, are we ready? Okay, you always want to look for little loose ends like that. You don't want to grab anything. And I actually do this now. Make sure we don't have chair or anything in there. And up we go. And as you can see, the lifter is moving itself, centering its gravity over the top of my patient. Now we're ready to do our transfer. Now that we've got our patient up, we can talk about some of the benefits of the Molift sling. We already talked about the sliding loop and the ladder in the front, but it has little details like caregiver handles. So if I need to reposition my patient or move her, I don't have to grab onto her body and make that move. I can use these handles to maneuver her to where I would like her. Also, you see there's one in the back here. Same thing for if I was going to lower her into an open back chair. I would be able to reach through there. Use this as I'm lowering her to pull her back into a fully seated position. Things like the lifting strap being sewn off of the edge of the sling. What that's for is somebody with redundant tissue, that it won't dig into their tissue and being lifted and be very uncomfortable for them. Little things like the stitching being on an angle, and you can see it better now here than if I'd have shown you when it was just off, that you get a better form fit to the leg and around the femur for better support, no pinching or binding or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to push her just enough so I get a little bit of tilt on her wheelchair, and the front wheels just come slightly off the ground. So when I lower her, we're going to let the lifter move and push itself away so she'll be fully seated in her chair. Simply remove the sliding loops on our front ladder. Removing the sling actually is done in exactly the reverse order as when we applied it. So first, separate the two legs. Go ahead and lift Kim's foot. Take that out. That side. And then, very carefully, I am just going to, again, do just reverse of what I did the first time. Right into the back. I'm just going to lean up slightly and remove the sling.